Hi guys, welcome to another video on Tableau. Today we'll be looking at live data and extract. We're looking at working with live data and working with extract. The difference between live data and extract is from the word live, that means you're connected to a data, it's a real-time connection that you have with the data. That means as the database you're connected to gets updated, so your Tableau workbook gets updated as well. So you're connecting on the go, on the fly, so you get all the updates on the fly. While the extract data, from the word extract, shows that you pulled out something from a source. Let's put it that way. So the extract data will be taking a snapshot of the real data, taking a snapshot of the original data so that I can work with it offline. Yeah, let me use the word offline so that I can, okay, there's no real-time connection again between your Tableau workbook and the real data source and the real data source. So you're taking a snapshot of the data so that you can work with it offline. Just an example using the word offline, right? So quickly we'll get into it and I'll connect to data source and we'll see how we can work with the data with live data and extract data. By default, if you're using Tableau desktop, Tableau desktop gives you the flexibility to choose between live data, a live connection. You see the option right here. Whenever you pick a data source, you see live and extract on this side, where my mouse is on this side of your data. Let's connect to the data source first so that you can see what I'm talking about. I'll click on Microsoft Excel here. I'll click on this file here. It's just a small data, just a custom data specifically for this course, right? So you see the option for a live connection and a live connection and extract. You see the option to do that right here. So for us, but if you're on a Tableau public automatically creates an extract for you. You don't get to use a live data. Now, what's the difference between live data and extract? Apart from the fact that I've defined it, is that a live data has its own downtime sometimes, and I'll say its own cons, and its cons will be, say, network speed, traffic on that particular network. You have to write queries and all of that. It varies. Do you understand? Connecting to a live data, but sometimes you might need to do that. Do you understand? Sometimes you might need to do that. Let's say, okay, you want to connect to the data source of a hospital that monitors the incoming patient data. Your incoming patient data needs to make a real-time decision. For a data like that, of course, this kind of situation necessitates a live database connection, right? Of course, if the situation does not warrant that you use a live data source, then extract is another good option. So it just takes a snapshot of the data and then you work with the snapshot that you have. But one cool thing is that you can also update your data. You can also update your data. So because you're using an extract does not mean you cannot get the updates from the data source. And I'm going to see that quickly right here. Do not forget that I said if you're on a Tableau desktop, you see the options connected to use a live or an extract right here where you can see my mouse. Okay, so let's go to worksheets. And yeah, from the previous video I mentioned that if you have only one workbook in your worksheet, by default Tableau selects that for you, and that is what we see here. But in the previous video, when we connected to one that has two workbooks, the hairline, we had to drag one of the workbook onto our displays for us to be able to view data and all of that. So in the coming videos, we'll still take a look at all we have here and see what we can do with them. So from the data, from what you can see, let me collapse this. You can see that I just have 3 rows of data, and just as I said, it's just for the sake of this video. Just for the sake of this video. So let's go to sheet 1 and see what we have in the data. Okay. Just ignore this. I connected to it earlier. That's why I'm having that error. Okay. So now, if you take a look at this, the way to differentiate between the live data and an extract is the database icon that you get here. The database icon that you get right here. The database icon that you get right here. Sorry about that. just want to close that. I want to remove that. Okay, good. Now database icon that you have right here, if you take a closer look to this place, you see that we have two database icons there, and it's showing an arrow. I'm trying to work on my zoom function, it's not coming up. So you see the arrow, that means it's saying okay, there's an extract from this primary data source to this place. So you're working with an extract. But if it's a live data source, you only see a single icon. If you're on Tableau desktop, right away and you selected live, you'll be getting only a single database icon here. You'll be getting a single database icon here. Alright, so let me take you back quickly and so that you can see what I'm talking about. If you click on data source again, can you see the live data itself as a single database icon? Can you see? So obviously by default, Tableau public creates an extract for us to always work with, and that's why you're seeing double data source right here. Okay, let's see how we can update our data source ourselves even though we're working with an extract. So let me double click this. So automatically puts it into the column for me. If you don't want it, you can always drag it say into your row and you have something like this. I think I'm okay with it right here, and I'll drag sales into this place. Now I see the total sales for 2020 and the year 2021, right? So I have the data source opened in Excel. I have data sets open in Excel, and you can see that right here. I'll just close this. I want to review later. Okay, thank you. Now I have the data source open in Excel. Just as I said, I have only 3 rows of data, as you can see. But if you take a close look at these, I have months. I have for January. This date format is in month, day, and year. So I have January 5th, and I have 5th, 11th of January as well. So giving me this total. That's why we have 10,100. If I'm not wrong, yes, 10,100 in the year 2020. But I want to see all of my data. So what do? I click on that drop down, go to more. I click on custom. I select this drop down. Now I'm not selecting months, but I want to see everything complete. Can you see the month and year if there are days involved? But if I don't want to see days, I'll just click on month and year and I'll click on OK. Now I can see January, right? But then I still have day inside, right? Because I have 5th of January and I have the 7th, the 11th of January. So I'll click on month, day, and year. I'll click on OK. So now I can see both. But of course, I don't want to. This is probably a mistake, an intentional one. Because what I want is not. I want it to be 11th. That means the 11th month. That should be November 11th, right? So let's check it. Now let's say I come here and I change the data source on Excel right here, because this data source I connected to, and I change this to, let's say, 30th. So at least by the end of the month, that's when you might want to check your sales. And I click on this as well and I change it to 30th, and yeah, I entered like that. So I come here also and I change this to 30th and I click on enter and I save this, right? So I've saved this, but by default nothing happens in our data source. Nothing happens here. Let's see how we can get our data set updated. So if I remove this and I remove this as well, I double click this again, of course I want the month, day, and year. I'll click on the drop down, come to custom and select month, day, and year. Click on OK. I prefer it in the row. Okay, this is looking good. Now if you take a close look, you see that we still have the same thing. It did not update automatically for us. And right, as a data analyst, the data source has changed. Of course, you need to update your workbook. So how do we do that? All you have to do is very simple. I'll right click on the data source from here, right, and you see refresh data. Now if you are using a Tableau desktop, you will see the option to for the live connection. You won't see refresh. This particular refresh will be for your live connection. You can just come all the way down here, then you see something like, you see extract here. Yes, somewhere around this point you see extract. Then if you, just like you have an arrow here, you have an arrow in front there, you click on it and then you click on refresh. But since we're using Tableau public. So I'll just hit the refresh button, and once I hit the refresh button, can you see, I'll click on yes, and voila, okay, it's preparing, and right there my data has changed. Now I have the updated version. So let's say I want to add another month. I'll just open Excel. Okay, I'll just do that here, add a new month, and I'll come here. Let's say I want to add the 12th December 2020 right there, and let's say I want to say 9,700, yeah, right there. So I'll save this and come back to my data source. All I have to do is left click on here and refresh. I'll click on yes. I'll wait for it to update for me, just a short while. Yeah, voila, and we get it. So that's how to use a live and an extract. If you want to learn more about live dataset and extract datasets, I'll leave a link in the description below to our Telegram channel where articles are posted, explanations are made on all of this. But for the videos, they are topic specific and they will be kept as short as possible, simplified as possible, enough to have your knowledge grounded in the topic. So I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join the Telegram channel to connect with other great scientists, great analysts, share insights, and work collaboratively on a project. See you in the next video. Bye.